going, everybody? My name is Ryan Williams, and this is the Ask A CISSP podcast. So this is a companion podcast to the other side of the firewall, where we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. So I've been blessed over the past few weeks. I've had really good guests on the show, and today is no different. So I greatly appreciate you for giving me your time tonight. I just want to briefly have you introduce yourself, and then we'll go over your background and your cybersecurity origin story. And then from there, like the sky is the limit. So if you could for me, just brief background, and then we'll talk about how you got into IT and cybersecurity.
Yes. Well, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. I'm Delisha Hodo, Assistant Director of Advising for SANS.edu and the chair lead for SANS+HBCU. And as the Assistant Director, I lead a team of amazing advisors who pretty much guide future cyber leaders through SANS and GAC training. And on the DIB side of things, as not only the chair for SANS HBCU, but also just as part of the SANS DIB task force. I worked with a great team of individuals to try to diversify the field of cybersecurity through our efforts with free training, as well as free summits and whatever we can do to support those who are much often unseen and unheard in this field.
No, absolutely. And yes, it goes without saying, right? Like the entire reason for the podcast is to highlight people like yourself who have, broken the glass ceiling and gone to a position, senior level position or executive position, or are trying to reach out to community to kind of grow us, right? Because we're only 9% and it's steadily growing, but you're involved in so many different efforts, right? So I definitely wanted to have you on the show. I'm glad that you reached out and also that you shared the podcast within your network as well. And I don't know if it's just you or several other people. I don't know what the story is behind the scenes, but we've gone up. I want to say we're 260% over last month, and like I'm pretty sure it's in concert with talking to you and having you share us out with your network. So greatly appreciated. And I definitely think that this is timely, right? Because of all your efforts and because of what's currently going on and just the synergy of it all. So what steps or what processes kind of brought you to where you're currently at, where you're in the position that you're currently in, as well as able to do your outreach?
Yes. So I like to refer to myself as cyber adjacent because I don't save the world every day or plan world domination like great women named Tanisha Martin. Um, but I do support and advise those who do those things. And I'm not technical in any sense. I actually come from a nonprofit, so a K through 12 nonprofit background. Never thought I would be in education in any shape, form, or fashion. I just kind of stumbled into it after graduating college. I majored in psychology. I moved halfway across the country to California. I'm from Georgia. So, first time ever living outside of the state of Georgia, moved super far to California to serve with AmeriCorps called City Year organization. And I actually served as a mentor. So, I was mentoring and tutoring middle school students in East Side San Jose, Fisher Middle School to be exact. So, I was supporting those students, trying to get them back on reading level, as well as teaching after school. So teaching seventh graders, helping them with Google coding at the time, because Google was actually donating their free coding boot camp. So we were actually leading that with students. And one of my coworkers was like, "Hey, I know we're wrapping up this year, but I think this would be a great opportunity for you." And that opportunity that she was speaking of was a college advising position, which would be going into college access, returning back home to Georgia, and assisting high school students through the college process. Because I was the first generation college grad, I had to figure it out on my own. So I thought it was a great opportunity for me to give back and be that support for students who wouldn't know what that process looked like. And I wanted to make sure that I was there to prepare them for what that process looked like and help them avoid as many pitfalls as possible. So in that time, I spent 2 years working in Atlanta and then moved to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, did 2 more years advising virtually, so connecting with students nationwide. So I went from the west side of Atlanta to serving students internationally. And throughout the United States. And after those 2 years, four total, I kind of realized I wanted to transition into higher ed and assist students on the other side of that coin. So stumbled upon SANS just by chance. I was just searching and I said, I never heard of this place before, but I'm gonna apply anyway. Got hired and I haven't looked back ever since. I've moved from advisor to senior advisor to now assistant director in 3 years. So it'll be 4 years in December. So it's been an amazing journey and just learning more about the world of cybersecurity and being able to combine my passion of technology because I've always been very tech focused, always the person that family calls to fix things, figure out things, and put things together. So just kind of leading me to their full circle to combine my passion for advising and supporting others with technology. And that got me here to cybersecurity. So it's been a great journey learning more about the field and meeting all the amazing people who look like us in this field and all the great things that they're trying to do to get more of us in this field.
Right. No, and that's amazing. So to go back, so you said that your undergrad is in psychology. So I'm also a psychology. Mine was in social psychology with concentration like deviance and oh man, what was it? It was deviance and abnormal behavior. It's kind of what I was looking at a point in time in my career, right before pivoting back into cybersecurity. So I always like I love talking to psych majors because like we just think differently, right? We kind of want to know how people tick, right? Like to understand what motivates people. So it's good to see that you're able to take that passion and then move it into higher ed, and then SANS. So and this is not a plug or a veiled advertisement. I don't have any association with SANS, but I do like the organization and the tests are hard. So
Yeah.
I actually feel accomplished when I study for one and take it, right? It's not they're definitely not they're definitely not give me's, right? Like you have to
Right.
earn a certification from SANS. And that's awesome. And that you're still working with them in the capacity that you're working with them. Um, so that being said, so we talk about HBCUs, and I see that you have that connection. Um, what other kind of I guess connections within Atlanta or that area, because I know it's growing, right? Like so we've had segments in the past on the show where we talk about how STEM is like STEM pipelines with Apple and I want to say Bell South and things of that nature. Like how do you see the area growing when it comes to STEM and cybersecurity, and like what kind of outreach and connections do you kind of have in that area? Like basically I'm trying to uh get you to plug some stuff, but without asking directly. But I just ask directly. Like, what do you have in ways of programs and things of that nature uh, in the area for students, either locally or they can, join from online and things of that nature?
Yes. So from a science perspective, there's a lot of different avenues for students, regardless of where you're from. I'm actually from rural Georgia, so I'm about an hour and a half south of Atlanta. Um,
Okay.
so for individuals from the rural South, rural areas throughout America, like I was from, SANS has programs such as Cyber America, which is a really great program that allows high school students from all over to play a very interactive, fun game called CyberStart. And if they do really well on that game, then they have a chance to actually earn scholarships that they can use towards college.
That's
And they
awesome.
also earn the opportunity to gain a free science course. So we've had kids come through CyberStart America and they earn scholarships for college, or they earn a free science course, and before they even graduate high school, they're already GX certified.
Oh
Like not
wow.
many people can
Okay.
say
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So
No, that's great. Especially something on that level, right? Like having a reputable certification that you can take, because it's great to combine the certification with education and all that good stuff. And people always argue, which one's better? Is it experience? Is it education? Is certification? Well, it's all the above, right? It's just your path to getting to the career that you want to get to. So that's awesome that you have that track to be able to allow people to accomplish certification before even graduating high school. So I definitely want all that link and all that information so I can put it in the description. Um, with that being said, so when it comes to growth in the field, because it sounds like you've been doing this for a while now, how have you seen kind of like the population growth and the adoption of the programs that SANS provides, or any other programs that you've been involved in?
Yes, I've seen a lot of growth. Cyberstone America has really exploded in getting more students and kids across the nation to participate when it comes to our cyber academies, our SANS Immersion academies. They've grown a lot. We had the original academies, which were Vet Success, which is for our veterans out there who are interested in getting SANS Jack certified, to our Women's Academy in partnership with WESIS, and several other companies like Google, Facebook, Bloomberg, who have poured into supporting that program is huge. Like there's been a lot of women who have come through, done amazing things, or are now working in the field of cybersecurity who come from so many different backgrounds. And then we have another academy called the Diversity Cyber Academy for all individuals who identify as people of color, to one of the newer academies, which is my brainchild and one that I really pour a lot into, which is the SANS HBCU Plus Academy that we are further expanding, to open up to not just HBCU juniors, seniors, graduate students, and alumni, but also Black students and alumni nationwide. So there's a lot of exciting things happening there that we're building upon, and we're going to continue to expand and open it up so we can reach as many individuals as possible to get them trained in cybersecurity. And what makes our academy special is the fact that we have mentors. So with our academy specifically, shout out to Dunny Green and Lisa Peterson. Literally every week, they're meeting with our cohort of students every Thursday, and they're supporting them throughout each and every course in our academy. They can earn up to 3 Jack certifications. So a lot of them are in college right now. Some of them are out of college. There's a good mix of individuals, career transitioners, people who come from the medical field, former teachers, the whole nine, who are all together in this one cohort. And they're working together, earning these certifications. And by this time next year, we're going to do it all over again. So, my goal is to continue to expand not only the HBCU Academy, but all academies that we offer so we can reach as many people as possible and put a dent into the diversity problem that cybersecurity has.
Right. No, absolutely. And as well as just the shortage, right? We talk about it week after week. Like there's a million jobs out there that are sitting vacant, to the point where you have a national strategy to try to bring in more women, try to bring in more minorities, try to, bridge that gap with people who have the ability to bring in that diversity of thought, diversity of culture. So you hit three big topics for me, right? Like, so the veterans, because I'm a veteran myself. So I love to hear it, right? That support,
Thank you.
as well as bringing in people who have very diverse backgrounds, right? Because the military could be anything from a cop to a cook to an engineer, and everything in between. So it's good to see that you have that support, as well as you said that you're with WESIS. So actually, I've not spoken to anybody from WESIS just yet, but I do follow them on LinkedIn, and I see all the great things they're doing, right? Because women make up more than half the population, but I think in cybersecurity, like it's maybe 25%, when you see a really good stat. But even then, it's just it doesn't make sense, right? How can you make up half the population and have all these people who have all this talent and skill, yet you're unable to capture them or retain them when you do find women who want to grow within cybersecurity. So it's good to see that you have that plugin as well. And then just uh, minorities in general, right? Like you're going beyond just HBCU uh, people who are currently in the pipeline or those who are graduated, but just people of color in general. Again, we only make up 9% of the field, and with there being such huge vacancies and gaps, like your initiatives are phenomenal. So I definitely want to capture all of this, to be able to, hopefully someone's listening and saying, well, I'm a teacher who wants to transition, or a flight attendant, or maybe in the military you were a cook or something like that. Like you bring something to the table. Like just having that diversity of thought itself brings a lot. And then I've seen people who they jump from law and then they'll come over to cybersecurity because there's policy and regulation and governance and all that good stuff as well. So we've plenty of space for you. Please come to our side
Yes,
of the
please.
fence. Like we need more people. So it's good to have people like yourself and those mentors, because I think that in itself is worth the just I can't even like it bridges the gap because there's a lot of people who want to join and they just don't have that person to talk to say, hey, I did it as well, or hey, I was doing something completely different before I pivoted into cyber, and this is how I applied those skills over on this side of the field, whether it be in governance and risk or in audit and assessments or what have you. So it's good to hear that you have that. Are these mentors, are they volunteers? Do they work in association with you and the academy? Like if someone wanted to volunteer, how would they go about doing so?
Yes. So Dunny, he is paid. However, he does work well behind his scope. So I'll say it's half paid, half volunteer. He just always goes above and beyond for us. Lisa definitely volunteers her time. She works for SANS and she's really passionate about supporting our students. So anyone that's interested in volunteering in any capacity, whether that's coming to speak, I invited a couple people to come speak to our cohort this year and just kind of share their story and have a conversation like me and you were having in a Q&A, to if you just want to be a mentor from a sense of, hey, I want to join on some of these calls or volunteer my time to do one-on-ones or to support anyone who's struggling, especially if you've went through SANS Jack training before. That's really valuable for students who are going through this for the first time and they need that pep talk and that guidance from a technical aspect. So any technical mentors out there, gonna know it front and back. Um, we'd love to have you come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I if I could ever help out in some capacity, please let me know. Because it just I find that just that in itself, like just having the conversation with somebody who's kind of deciding what they want to do, because cybersecurity is just so broad, right?
Right.
um just having a conversation to say like what do you like what do you like doing. Like some people like myself, we like the boring stuff, right? Like we like the governance and compliance and risk, and then other people, they want to be pen testers or they want to be threat hunters, or they just like to do the quality assurance, right? Like they want to QC people's products, or they're technical writers, right? And they want to kind of be able to translate what we do into something that's palatable, so someone can learn from that to then decide to either go the path of certification or what have you. So all the above is amazing, and I'm glad to hear it and see it in action, right? Um, so if someone wanted to reach out to you directly, to kind of uh, to either they're looking for mentorship or they're looking to decide what type of academy they should join. Maybe they hit all the check boxes, right? They're a veteran, they're a woman, they're a person of color. How would they reach out to you and your team to kind of help them like decide what to do next?
Yes. If they're interested in any of the academies and they have general questions or questions that aren't answered on our academy's website that I will provide to you, then they can always email academies@sans.org. If there's anyone who just wants to connect with me, have me help out in any way, or I'll try my best. No, can't make any promises, but they can reach out to me at the HODO@sans.edu, if they need anything, or they can connect with me on LinkedIn, like a lot of people do. I have people who message me on LinkedIn, asking, "Hey, I want to transition into cyber. What are some things that you suggest?" And I take the time and I write them a whole paragraph of different things and link them to different free SANS resources at sans.org/free. To our new The Cyber Field Manual, which is a really great document that anyone should have, that breaks down building your own home lab, to here's different ways to get experience, like through our holiday hack challenge that's coming up for 2023. So there's a lot of different opportunities there. But again, you can hit me on LinkedIn. You can email me, and I can point you in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna share all of your links and your bio as well. So I'm interested in the holiday program you just brought up. So if somebody was interested in jumping in that, do you have to already have a certain amount of skills, or what are the like the prerequisites?
Honestly, there are no prerequisites other than you being ready to have fun. It's built for families, so no matter your age, like kids, adults, teenagers, anyone who has some sort of interest, or maybe you're just curious about trying to crack codes and figure out things, the Holiday Hack Challenge is for you. It's been very successful the last few years, so it's really open to anyone. There's no boundaries there. So if you want to get your feet wet, dip your toe in the water, and try things out, the Holiday Hack Challenge is probably one of the best things that you can do just to see if it's for you, and you kind of take it from there.
Okay. And then I know that is appealing to a lot of people who don't quite know what they want to do, right? Like so to somewhat gamify it, right? Make it fun so that way they can get a taste of, what cybersecurity has to offer and how they may fit within the there's a million different things you can do, right? Like the list goes on and on. If I one of these days I'm gonna have the cloud behind me of all the different things you could do in cybersecurity, where it's just endless, it's just lines and dots and arrows everywhere. Um, so we've talked about your background. We've talked about kind of your origin story and how you uh, it was like a natural progression, right? It wasn't like a major pivot. Like you were in psychology, you're in education, and then you kind of built your way towards all the great outreach things that you're currently doing. So if someone were to kind of want to walk in your footsteps, right? Like they're like you said, cybersecurity adjacent. What would you say like would be the building blocks to that? Like what kind of mentality should they have, and then what steps should they take to begin the journey?
That's a great question. I would say don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. I feel like I've done that. I'm a more reserved person, a very introverted person. So in the last few years, I've challenged myself to step outside of my comfort zone, to purposely and intentionally connect with people, to put myself out there, to talk a lot more, for people to hear my voice. So, first thing I would say is definitely don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. The second thing I'll say is to go out there and get it. Don't box yourself in just because you spent the last 3 years, I don't know, working in marketing. Doesn't mean that that's your identity. Like, don't allow yourself to be boxed in by the job title, by what you've done in the past, by your education, by your training. You have the opportunity to unbox yourself, to break out of that, to build your own table. Don't wait for other people to invite you to a table. Build your own table, bring your own chairs, and invite who you want to invite.
That's a word right there. Like, no, that's great. So, with that being said, then from everything that you've learned to go about your journey and kind of chart your own path, what would be something like what would be something where you would tell somebody like, don't spin your wheels here, instead pivot to here, right? Like in the past, I've talked to a couple different entrepreneurs, right, that have kind of built their own business, or they've kind of built their own uh, segment within the company, right? Say like this didn't exist, but I had this idea. But where would be somewhere where you would say, if you could use your time more wisely, where would you tell somebody to kind of point their efforts? Or I guess stay away from this thing, right? And then focus on this thing instead.
Definitely stay away from perfection. I know it's easier said than done.
No, that's great. I
Nobody's
like where you're going. I
perfect.
like where you're going with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Like nobody's perfect. Don't let trying to be perfect get in the way of being good. Because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is that you did the best that you could. You feel good about it. The people that you impacted feel good about it. Perfect doesn't mean anything. So definitely don't chase perfection. Do chase being the best that you can and giving 100% for that week. And what I mean by that is sometimes we don't give 100% every day. It's not possible. So just kind of measure yourself. 20% Monday. That's fine. You can only give 20%. Did you do your best? You gave the best 20% that you could give for Monday. And you just build it up. And by the end of the week, you're at 100%. So did you give 100%? Yes, I did. Because you tried your best and you gave your all each day of that week to get yourself to 100%. So that's why I say don't chase perfection. Do what you have to do. Always put yourself first. Pour into your professional development. Don't wait for anyone to tell you what you should do or can do. What do you want to do? What do you see for yourself? Don't limit yourself by what others see you as, but as you what you see for yourself and what you want to be, and chase after that. And use all the resources that you have. Like reach out to me, reach out to Ryan, reach out to the individuals that you're seeing who want to help, and don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone and ask for help because there are people who are here who exist who want to help you, whether it's that get you one step closer to your dream or be that bridge that covers you over to your ultimate success. So
No, that's perfect, and I'm sure there's a ton of people out there who need to hear that. My one of my mentors always says he has like this old saying where it's good is better than perfect because perfect is never done. So it's not that you shouldn't chase perfection, it's just that you'll never obtain it, right? The perfect thing, like once you get there, you're gonna say, well, I can make it better, I can refine it, I can make it more efficient, I can make it prettier, I can do X or Y to it. So it's the like you said, it's about giving the 100%, but maybe you break it down into a 5-day work week, 100%, like you said. So no, that's great. I never thought about it in that way, right? Because I've had some days where I'm like, this is a zero. I tried my best. However, like, life happened and there was a reset, or I didn't get what I want to get accomplished done. We kind of talked about it before we started the podcast, right? Like I've been in my laptop all day. I've gotten out of the 4 things I need to get done, I got 2 of them done. And that's a good day. It's not a perfect day, but it's a
50%
good
true.
day, right? I got one thing done at work, and then I was able to have this conversation with you. So out of the 4 things I need to do before I get on the plane, I knocked out 2 of them, and I'm better off because of it. So no, that's great. That's really good to hear, and I kind of needed that myself, right? So hopefully, somebody who's listening to the podcast that kind of pushed them over the to I was having a bad day, but now it's better, right? Or I can recoup later on in the week. It's only, what is today? Monday? Tuesday?
Yes.
It's only
See,
Monday.
exactly. Just it's Tuesday basically at this
Yeah.
point.
So no, that's good. That's a good word for whomever's listening. So we've covered like you and your efforts have a multitude of outreach, right? Like if you're a veteran, you got them. If you're a woman, you've got that covered. If they're a person of color, regardless if they're in the HBCU pipeline or not, you got them. If they are in the pipeline, you got to track for that as well. Um, we've pretty much covered the full gamut. And then on top of you have a cohort currently going, and then you have the challenge coming up for the fall. When is the next cohort? Sorry, I can't speak. When does this one end and when does the next one begin?
Yes, this one will end early 2024, and the next cohort will begin in the summer of 2024.
Okay, and I'm sure the timelines are on the website as well, right? So if somebody wanted to pre-register or get ready, they can probably find information by following one of the multitude of links you're going to give me to share with the audience.
Yes, and we will have updated dates coming soon to the website as well. But of course, you can email us at hbcu@sans.org if you have any questions about anything. And then we also have sans.org/HBCU if you would like to go to that page as well. And we have a little area where you can express interest and submit your information. And that way you can get first priority or first dibs on learning about when our application for that next cohort is opening up.
Perfect. And if you're not already following um, you on LinkedIn. They definitely need to follow you on LinkedIn. So like I said, I'm not exactly sure if it was because I had a really good conversation with you on LinkedIn and the connection, and then you gave me the bump, right? Like, hey, this is a podcast you need to listen to. And then I met other content creators through you, right? So I think somewhere in that synergy, we've gotten a pretty big bump. So if you're a content creator, or you're a person who wants to volunteer your time, or you're a person who needs to follow you because they kind of want to follow your career path, or they want to join one of the academies that you mentioned, definitely, like if you have not done so already, you need to connect on LinkedIn. Are there any other social network platforms that people should follow you on?
LinkedIn is my main platform that I engage a lot on. I'm also on Twitter. I'm meticulously brilliant, so I'll also
Okay,
include that. Um, Also on Instagram, but again, mainly on LinkedIn. So I would prefer if everyone reach out to me primarily through LinkedIn
okay.
first. I'll probably see it a lot sooner through LinkedIn if you reach out that way.
No, that's perfect. And I like that you still call it Twitter because I'm not going to call it.
Right? Yeah, I'm not calling it.
I'm
It's
not
Twitter.
calling it X. It's not going to happen, right? It's always going to
Yeah.
be Twitter. Uh, so people know where to follow you. I'm just trying to make sure I covered all my bases before we make a hard pivot. So what I like to do is whenever I have somebody on the podcast, like I like to get to know all about you and your professional life, but then also you as a person, right? Right now we're seeing multiple articles about people in the field of cybersecurity. There's lots of burnout, right? People need to take better care of themselves and their mental health within the field because there's a lot to learn. You're not going to learn all of it. There's always some kind of new either a new tool or a rule is changing, right? Like the SEC rules just updated, or there's a new revision to a bunch of standards that are about to drop in the new year. But what do we do outside of work, right? Like, what do we do when it comes to decompressing and, doing what actually interests us and fulfills, like fills up our meter? Like for me, I'm still doing cybersecurity stuff off work, but there's other stuff too, right? So on our show, The Other Side of the Firewall, we talk about that on Fridays, right? It's the weekly rundown. Like, what have you done with your family? What have you done on, did you take a vacation? Did you read a book? So for yourself, like, what have you been doing for the past week? And then what is kind of like your hobbies or your interests that you do outside of your daily profession?
Yes, for the last week, I've actually been moving stuff back in. So I did a three-room remodel. So I did my bathroom, my office, my bedroom. So spent the week, past week, moving some things back in, which is not fun because I hate packing and I hate unpacking. So
Right,
been
right.
doing that. But I'm really proud of how it turned out with the new space. I feel like it was a great timing to do a good refresh and reset for myself that way. But outside of this past week in the whole remodeling business, I'm a huge sports fan. I love my college football, so I'm
Okay,
super excited that college football is back. Go Dogs! But I'm
got
also
you.
really creative, so I love music, I love art, I love creating, whether it's baking, cooking, because I love cooking and baking, um, and just traveling as well. So I've made an intention to try to travel at least twice a year. Want to get that up to three times a year, but I think I'm making great strides, and so I'm looking forward to my vacation in November and my
Oh,
birthday coming up next month. So I have a lot of
okay,
things to look forward to get me through the rest of the year,
right.
and then also just supporting other organizations locally, like the local breast cancer walk that's happening here in October. I walk that every year, so I'm going to support that and donate and also walk. And it's more personal to me this year, so definitely going to participate and represent for my family this year. And that walk was a lot more personal. And recently, the other weekend, volunteered with the Atlanta Hawks, did the Million Meal Pack. That's fun because I
Okay.
love volunteering. So I always get a lot of energy out of pretty much giving back and helping people. Like that gives me a burst of energy when I'm doing something fun like that. And I feel like I did something that's gonna actually help people that I don't even know.
No, that's commendable because I see it. That seems to be a trend from a lot of people I talk to. Like part of their decompression or part of their interest outside of work is volunteerism and helping other people, right? Like they not only do it in their job, but then they do it outside their job. So I have to ask, when it came to the remodel, was it were you swinging the hammer, or did you have to, or did you have somebody do it for you?
No, I had help. I
Okay,
can't
because
take
I
all the credit. I had
got you.
help, but I did a lot of the designing. So people love the design of everything. So
Okay,
I picked out everything, all the materials, and who knew tiling would be so therapeutic? But there,
right.
yeah. So
Because okay, because I had to ask because so we've done a little bit of remodeling as well, right? Like everybody, I come out the pandemic. You've been in this space for so long. You're like, I want to do something different with it. But we had somebody do the floors. I was like, I can't do the floors myself. I'd tear everything up. And then we had the door. So we got glass added to the door. But the backsplash and the paint, I'm like, I got to do that myself. I really don't want to. Like it feels good when it's done, but like doing it, I'm
right.
just like, man, I just want to hire somebody else. So I'm right behind you. That's the plan for the fall is to do the backsplash and the paint and all that stuff. Um, you also brought up music. So what genre or artist? Like what's your before I go to your top five? I gotta kind of narrow it down.
I pretty much listen to anything, not really country, not a country music person, but I'll pretty much listen to anything once, and if I like it, I like it. But primarily listen to a lot of R&B, especially old school. I love Al Green because of my
Okay.
grandmother.
You
Like
got you got good
that when
taste.
I was
Right.
little, so
Yeah.
gotta go back to Al Green. Love the Isley Brothers, uh, Uncle Charlie. And then I go all the way to the whole other end of the spectrum with rap, Lil Baby, Young Thug.
Oh,
I love
okay.
J.
Like
Cole. I'm a huge J.
got
Cole
you.
fan. Like J. Cole is probably my favorite rapper. So if we're talking top five, um, not in any order. If I had to do top five more recent, it'll be J. Cole, Big Crit, um, Jid, so JID. Uh, for if I want to mix in some people, definitely got to put in Outkast,
Okay.
UGK. There's like so many people that I'm blanking on, but
Right,
top
right. No,
five.
I put you on the
J Cole
spot.
got to be my top top one, especially for this new era. If I mix in new era and old school era.
Okay. And I see like it's a concentration, right? You're like down south.
Yeah, I'm seeing all these
Okay,
names
yep.
in my mind. I'm like, I gotta just narrow it down to five.
There you go. No, nothing wrong with that. And then your taste in music commendable, right? Like so I same boat. I grew up listening to old school. Because if you're saying by modern, I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of anybody right now where I'm just like, yeah, it's good music, but I'm also getting stuck in my ways, right? So everybody hits that age where it's just like nothing past, like probably for me it's double odds. Like there's a few artists I mess with, like J. Cole, Kendrick, but most everybody like, Jay-Z, Nas, like I'm back there. So I respect it. You threw Outkast in there, you can toss me a playlist. Like some people where they'll say some stuff, I'm like, nah, I don't even wanna.
You don't even know.
I don't share any links
No
with
more,
me.
and
Like you
I
can't have my
definitely, if I had to choose between Jay Z and Nas, I'm probably more of a Nas person.
okay.
If we're
So
talking
you
about like New York hip hop, Wu Tang Clan, and Love the Locks. So those type.
okay.
Used to love Dipset as
Yeah,
well.
okay.
We were like
Okay.
hot.
So yeah, right.
And then R&B is a whole nother level. I probably couldn't pick a top five for R&B because I'd like to say, do I have to split it in two different lists, women, men? Because I can't
Right,
put them all
right,
together.
right. Yeah, I won't put you on the spot, but no, it sounds like you have pretty good taste in music. And then your volunteerism again, that's commendable, and you doing the walk. So it's good to hear all the above, right? So for the people who are listening, right? Like you should decompress, you should do your own thing, but it is also fulfilling to also give on your time off as well, right? In some capacity, whether it be your time or what have you. So no, all good stuff. So you pretty much answered like all of my usual my personal questions. I go into music, I go into do you have any book recommendations you might want to pass to people? Like it could be educational or it could be anything, fiction, nonfiction, anything that you've read recently where you're like, somebody else should read this.
There is a book I read recently called Lead to Win. I'm blanking on her name. Usually, if I had all my stuff in here, I would be able to pull these books
Right.
out. I want to say her name is Carrie Harris. Maybe making that up. I'll look it up. But it's Lead to Win, and she has, I think, two other books that are kind of along those themes.
All right. Uh, so before we end the podcast, so we've talked about movies, books, all that good stuff. So hopefully other people share your taste, right? Somebody out there yelling at you because you didn't say their favorite rapper or R&B artist. Um, and we also talked about any type of like material you want somebody to read. Uh, is there anything that you want to plug, like anything that any specific websites or links or things that people should be looking into before we go?
Yes, I definitely want to plug our college. Not a lot of people know that SANS+HBCU actually has a college under its umbrella. So whether you're a veteran and you're looking to use your GI Bill, or you're a college student with a 529 college fund, and you're looking to spend money wisely and intentionally with us, or if you're individual and money's a factor, we have an income share agreement and a tuition payment plan available for those, and we're cheaper. So there's a lot of opportunity there to check out sans.edu, where you have pretty much wraparound services. You get an advising team like mine. I even advise students as assistant director. We have a career team who are excellent. Our admissions team is top notch. So you're definitely going to get that wraparound service and support that you wouldn't necessarily get anywhere else, especially on the level of SANS and GIAC certifications. So you can earn up to 4 certifications through our certificate program on the undergraduate side, or up to 10 in our bachelor's degree. So now, like I said, the average person might have 1 GIAC certification. Come to the college, you can rack up and have an opportunity, and then go through our career team and hopefully land a role in cybersecurity so that
Oh,
we
no,
can
that's
be speaking and
phenomenal.
uplifting you in the field.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know either. Like I knew about a lot of your efforts, but I didn't know that there was also a school in there as well. So no, that's great. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop. Again, it's not. I'm not selling anything. I don't have any sponsorships. I just like what I'm hearing, right? So I'm sure there's somebody else who's like, okay, like I can kill two birds with one stone because they're always trying to balance that, like education or certification. So no, that's great. So again, we're gonna capture everything we can within the link in bio, but people need to follow you as well. So we'll have your LinkedIn uh, link as well, so people can follow you on the platform, and hopefully this will bring more awareness, right, to people who thought that, oh, I've already started my career in something and I can't really pivot, or, maybe I don't have those transferable skills. Like, yes, you do. Pretty much anything would be transferable into our field. So cybersecurity is vast, it's broad, and we have so many openings and positions available. So, thank you for you and all your efforts. Again, I appreciate. I'm not sure if I can attribute the bump specifically to you, but I think you're part of the formula. Uh, with your sharing of the podcast and then just connecting me with other content creators. So definitely keep that up. And if I can help in any way, please let me know. Um, you can hit us up at all of the websites that go by our name. You can hit me up personally. I'm at RYRY Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, because I'm not calling anything else, and Threads, even though nobody's there. It's just me by myself. Uh, and then just continue to listen to the show. I never say it enough. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to appear on the show, please shoot me a message and we can kind of talk about it. I got to vet to make sure you're not crazy first, so we can have a good conversation like this one. And then just keep educating yourself and keep connecting with other people. Right? Like, sky's the limit out here. So, like you said, like, don't chase perfection. Take it one day at a time. Like, maybe today was not your day, but tomorrow you can start anew and get your 100% by the end of the week. So stay safe, stay secure.
Thank you.